I will make you feel worthless. But don't you worry, I will determine your value. You will love me for what I'm not, and you will hate me for what I become. Dear future girlfriend, you are a masterpiece.
In the beginning, I was so happy. I mean, I couldn't believe that he had really decided to, stop doing all that stuff just for me. I like it. It just makes you feel special.
When I dated Richie, he posted a lot about our relationship on the internet, and I liked that. I thought it was a redeeming quality of his, because I have been in relationships before where guys tried to like pretend they weren't with me, hide photos, and like not ever display that they were taken because they were pining for other girls. And Richie was so willing to like put me in videos, and like I just felt like he was so proud to be with me, and I took that as such a compliment. It made me feel safe that he was so public with me, because I thought it meant that nothing else would happen with anyone else because it was so obvious that we were together. But that is not how it works, apparently.
Broke up on tour, and then when we got back together, we didn't post about it because he didn't want anybody knowing that we got back. Didn't want people to be like aware. I guess he didn't want to ruin his chances with other girls that he was trying to hook up with by telling people that we were dating publicly again. I don't think that he wanted to give me any power to tell people about the shit that he did after that, because he was so angry that I told anybody at all in the beginning. So I think that he didn't want to post about it publicly, so if he fucked up again, I wouldn't be able to tell anybody with them caring, because he didn't say that we were dating, we just were. Which is so fun. Like, who?
Dear future girlfriend, you are a masterpiece, but only when you're the correct weight, when you wear nice clothing, and when your makeup is immaculate. Anything less is unacceptable to me.
He comes to my apartment and everything is fine. Everything is great, and he leaves. And the next night, the night after he leaves, he was texting her again saying how he missed her. How just looking at her the night she went to the show made him almost prematurely come because of the extra weight she had put on. Because he's into that, and that was a problem in our relationship because I wasn't thick enough and I felt like shit about myself. So that burned. That burned.
But the next day, because I was supposed to be in the Filthy Pride video, because he wrote that song about me. So he was going to put me in a music video because the song is about me. And the day after my birthday, he sent me this really long message about how he wasn't going to put me in the video. He was going to replace me, literally and physically. And he just, he was angry, and he didn't want me to be there, and it was going to be too much work and too much drama to have me in the video. And he told me that my body would be distracting in the comments. He didn't want his comment section to be about my body instead of him.
future girlfriend. I will be your lover, but I will become your Antichrist. I will ruin the tender, vulnerable parts of you, so anyone after me will have to deal with your damage.
He's a cheater. He's manipulative. He will take every little piece of good in you and smash it.
I missed him so much, and I was so miserable in the time that we were apart that I can't imagine him during that time screwing around. Like, my brain does not understand that at all. I was so happy. I was so in love with him, and I thought it was both ways. It sounded like somebody else. Like, that's not my Richie. That's not the guy that I'm dating. That's not who I'm gonna end up with. Like, that's somebody else. Like, it swear to God, it did not sound like him at all. It was weird. It was very bizarre reading those messages.
Dear future girlfriend, I will take out all my insecurities on you to make you feel imperfect, so I don't have to.
And so the day of my birthday, we got in this huge fight. And he, made me feel like shit. He told me he didn't even know it was my birthday on my birthday. He made me feel awful about it, about me not wanting him to be there, enough to the point where he told me he forgot my birthday, and told me that I was shitty, and just a bunch of shit. It was awful. He made me feel crazy for thinking that he would do that. He made me feel crazy. I didn't know what to do. I thought it was my fault. I thought that I was causing him to do these things. I thought somehow I don't know.
Because even all the sweet moments that I remember hurt, because I'm like, wow, that wasn't enough. I wasn't enough. Like, I tried, but it wasn't enough for him.
Dear future girlfriend, I will construct a house for us on an island inside your head, but there will be no windows, and there will be no doors. Your friends will hate me, but I will turn you against them, because all they do is take the spotlight off of me.
And I feel so pathetic. I feel so pathetic right now, because even I miss him, and when I'm sad, I want to go to the person. He's been the most important person in my life for, I feel like, so long. And whenever I'm, hurting or stressed or having a panic attack or sad about something, I want to tell him. When I see something funny, I want to tell him. And right now I'm hurting really bad. And all I want is the person who hurt me to be here and help me through it.
And so I called Richie and I was like, hey, I just ran into my sister and I haven't seen her in a month and a half. Is it cool if I go hang out with her tonight and we can go see a movie on a different day? And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then, so I went with my sister because he said it was okay. And he didn't say it was okay oh, maybe you shouldn't go. He was like, yeah, no, that's fine. You haven't seen her in a while. And then an hour later, I was hanging out, and he was already flipping out on me. He was already angry. He was already texting me about how I clearly didn't care about him. He was tweeting about how I didn't care about him. And then I would say maybe 2 hours after that, he started live broadcasting on YouNow, chugging vodka, staring at the camera, completely silent, because I went to a party with my sister instead of seeing a movie. Completely silent. And everybody was like, they thought he was having a mental breakdown, and he was just doing that to make me feel shitty about going out with my sister. I stopped texting back. That's the day that I stopped texting back for 1 hour. I was out with my cousins and I didn't text him back for 1 hour. And he made me feel like utter shit about it. I mean, he really did. He told me that I didn't care about our relationship. He accused me of cheating on him. He did a bunch of stuff. He threatened to break up with me. He asked me if I wanted to break up with him, and that's why I was acting like that, and blah, 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 whatever. And it was awful. But of course, like, I thought it was my fault. I thought that, you know, maybe I shouldn't have gone out, or maybe I shouldn't have expected to, you know, have that freedom. And I don't know, I mean, it's not like I shouldn't have. I mean, like, I know that now. It's just
I will only text you back when it's convenient for me.
And he has not called me or texted me to see if I was okay since I left. So he went on Twitter and was posting about how he was heartbroken and how he felt alone. And those things really rubbed me the wrong way. Partially because you have to know when you have a fan base that big that that's gonna send people my way asking me what I did to break his heart. If I am not honest, if I don't like say what happened, then I am going to have to lie for him to spare his feelings. And that's not something he was willing to do for me. I would have to sit around and say, you know, it just didn't work out, or we grew apart, or gosh, tour was so stressful, it just made us fight. I don't know if he's gonna be angry at me for making this video, and fuck you if you are. I'm sorry, but my feelings were never considered in any of this. So if it hurts your feelings, that's too damn bad.
Dear future girlfriend, I am a narcissist. Your attention towards me will be undivided. And if you try to leave, I will threaten to kill myself. Because I know how to override your sense of rationality with emotion.
When he came back, over to his house to, you know, grab my stuff, and he wanted to like meet up and sit down and talk and everything. And you know, I was like, okay, like, we can sit down, like, I'm an adult, even though you know, were unfaithful to me, like, I don't mind sitting having a conversation with you. And I came over and, you know, we talked, and then, like, eventually, like, halfway through, like, started drinking wine or something. And this was after he, like, tried to, like, make out with me. And so we made out, but I, like, removed myself, and I can't do this, we're not getting back together, like, I need to go, that day. And I told him that twice. I was like, we can't get together, like, I don't want to be with you again, like, this is just gonna be a cycle, and I don't want to do it. And so, he walked me down to my, and then he, told me that he killed himself. He ran off into the woods. And I know everybody heard Greg say that, but it's true. He threatened to kill himself and then ran off. And I couldn't leave. I mean, like, he ran off into the woods, you know, towards the place that he previously said if he was ever going to kill himself, he would go, but he had told me if I left, he's going to do it. And then he ran off, and I didn't know what to do, but so I followed him, and I followed him into the woods, and I found him way down into the woods crying, and it was just sort of fit, like, just go, you're gonna leave anyway, just go. And I couldn't do it because I don't have a heart to heart. I cared about him, and I didn't him to be hurting just because I was hurting. So I told him I would stay. I told him I would stay that night. I told him I would stay with him. I told him a lot of stuff. I just figured, I don't know. I figured if he was so burnt up about it, then that he really did care. Somewhere I should have been, but even after that had happened, you know, Richie contacted me and calling me and begging me and asking if we can get back together, because it was just texts. Because they hadn't actually done anything yet. It was just text messages, and he really just messed up because he said a few things and he didn't really mean it, and he didn't really with anybody, and he didn't do this and he didn't do that.
I actually almost didn't leave because at first I only found photos and I didn't realize that it was actually sex, and I didn't realize how long it had been going on. And even though I found naked photos and very explicit conversations, I stayed. And he told me that's all that there was. He's like, that was it, there was nothing more. So I stayed, and I believed him, and I was really pissed, but we like walked around and talked about it, and it was really not that productive because all he could talk about was his tour and how I was messing up his tour, which I just wanted him to think about. Be selfless for a second, but that's whatever. And he told me it didn't mean anything, and
I see everybody in the chat just keep asking about if he cheated with the same girl. But Richie cheated on me with more than one person, more than 2 people, really more than 3 people. I don't actually know the whole final number. I know it was a lot. I know it was a lot more than I even know about.
And it would, I don't, this is not a mistake. This is not an accident. This is not something that happened once. This has been ongoing. Like, and I'm not even convinced it's only her. I'd actually be surprised if there weren't more. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
So the last time that we broke up, I was going to his house to hang out with him, and I got there before he did. And his Facebook page was open. And on his Facebook page, it was his messages just wide open on the screen. And it was just conversation after conversation after conversation after conversation. When I say there was probably, like, I saw at least 20. I saw at least 20 conversations, and that's just what I could see from a quick scroll. At least 20 conversations with just these random girls on Facebook, of him messaging his fans to see if they had turned 18 yet, of him, like, seeing if these, like, really, really young girls, like, barely 18 could drive, if they were in his area, like, a bunch of really creepy shit. Like, it seemed so predatory to me at the time that it was weird, because whenever me and Richie started, you know, dating, well, whenever me and Richie met and started talking and everything, and you know, starting that whole romantic thing, I was freshly 18, and I guess I didn't realize at the time that that's like a thing. I don't know. It's so weird to me. Like, I hate it. I wish I wasn't so young when I met him, so I would have fucking known better.
It was very vulgar. The conversations were very vulgar.
I helped him move after we broke up. I found out he was cheating on me, and I helped him move. I worked for him completely for free for a week straight, all day, every day. I was helping him paint and build all of his furniture and do everything for him. Because he told me that he didn't have people to help him. He didn't, you know, he said he needed help. He said there's nobody else who could do it. And so I offered to help, and I offered to do it, and, actually one of the girls that he cheated on me with almost showed up while I was there. And he, you know, gave me a whole spiel about some other shit that happened, and it wasn't that, you know, of course, because he still wanted my help.
Because I was going on his Europe, UK tour, and I was gonna help with merch, and I was so excited. I was so excited to help him because, like, I mean, I've done so much for, like, I busted my ass on every music video that he did, like, with the set and being in it, and I like to be there for him because, like, when you love someone, you give them, you do things you want to help them, and you want to help them succeed, and I wanted to go on the tour.
And it's scary. And I'm still crying because I'm still scared. Because I already know that he's gonna come back and make me feel like shit again, even though I shouldn't. But, you know, we'll wait it out. Did he try to blackmail you? Yeah, he did. I mean, that's another thing, I guess. Whenever I did say anything publicly about any of the stuff that he had done, and I didn't even go into detail. I mean, this is the most detail anybody's ever gotten, and it's not even fucking detailed. I mean, shit. Anyway, he flipped out, and he sent me these long, awful messages about how he was gonna make me look so shitty on the internet, and he was gonna tear me down, and he had the following to do it, and I wasn't gonna stand a chance because nobody gave a shit about me, because he could make me look bad, and they would listen to him, and I had no feet to stand on. And you know what? Fuck it. I've got 2 feet and they work just fine. So, suck on that, Richie.
And on his most recent tour, the first date, it was, I think, New Jersey or New York. I don't know exactly where, okay? First date on the tour, she went to his show, and he pulled her into a bathroom. For a quickie. I know this because I went through his phone and read his texts, and no, I don't feel sorry about it. I had some suspicions. I was not expecting to find this. But I read the back and forth, him asking her to come back to the car, or I don't even remember, but it was for a quickie. But then I couldn't, it didn't make sense to me. That I didn't think it could just be this one isolated event. So I looked again and I went further and I found more. And then I pulled him outside and I confronted him, and he doesn't really ever express emotion. He's a very like stone cold person. Maybe he'll sit there and cry a little, but it's not what the kind of emotion would be that you would expect to come from somebody. It was just agreeing with me, like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't have done that, you're right. But there wasn't any like, oh my god, babe, I am so sorry, I love you so much, how can I make this up to you, like, I know you're never gonna forgive me, and like, I understand if you want to leave, but none of that. Not a hug. I don't know what I expected.
Dear future girlfriend, don't be my future girlfriend.